Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I'd talk to you all about anxiety and how I'm getting on, and a little bit about my story. I mention on my social media quite a lot about my anxiety in day-to-day life, and so many of you are going through it and just want to know a little bit more. And it's perfect because this month's topic with Channel Mum is anxiety, and on the 29th of October this year they are launching a new anxiety course. So it's really important that you head over there when it's launched to find out some more information. They have a lovely psychologist called Emma Kenny who is absolutely amazing, and I've actually done some work to do with this anxiety course. So yeah, I probably will be featured on that and a little bit more about what is going on and about their new course. Emma Kenny is just absolutely amazing. I was lucky enough to be able to speak to her, and she's just so understanding. Herself has gone through anxiety as well, so she's very experienced, and yeah, she just made me feel so much at ease. So I will leave all the links down below. Head over to the forum page as well. I'll leave a link down below so you can ask any of your mental health questions to Emma, and I'm sure there'll be lots and lots of help over there. So yeah, I'll leave all links down below because it's really important for us mums to kind of stick together and know that we are not alone in this kind of journey. And it has affected not just me, but it's affected thousands of people out there, and every day I get comments and messages saying that I've helped them or they're going through the same thing as well. So yeah, it's really important that we do stick together. Okay, so I've got my cup of tea because this is probably going to be quite a long video. If you are not kind of interested in mental health or anxiety, then you may want to switch off, but I know a lot of you guys were asking for this, and you might find it helpful. And I know that there's other people out there with so much more problems than me and are experiencing mental health issues a lot worse than me, but I thought I'd share my story and kind of like how I deal with it and how it affects me. And yeah, so I hope you found this helpful. Okay, so I think what triggered my anxiety was definitely becoming a mum. When I was pregnant with Ellie, I didn't have it actually that bad because my pregnancy was quite straightforward and it was smooth, so I didn't experience any anxiety with that. Obviously I was scared about birth and C-sections, and that's pretty normal, but it wasn't until Ellie was actually born that I started getting the symptoms of anxiety, and it was pretty bad actually, to the point where I didn't leave the house. I'd only leave the house if I was with my mum or Paul or someone I knew. I, like, the littlest things, let me put my tea down in case I spill it. The littlest things I would worry about, and I think it's kind of normal with a first time mum, but I'd be constantly checking on Ellie to see if she was breathing, and when she would get ill I'd be constantly like worried about her. And yeah, it came to the point where I wouldn't, it's so silly, but I wouldn't leave the house on my own. I wouldn't even go to the shops down the road. Back, it was actually really bad to the point where it was taking over my life and it was quite serious. And my family didn't really know about my anxiety until Ellie was at least 1 or maybe 2 years old. They thought it was just my hormones and adjusting to motherhood and things like that, but I did feel very, very lonely being a first time mum. The second time round with Harry, it has got extremely worse. There's kind of like good bits and bad bits, so I kind of venture out on my own now with Harry and Ellie, whereas before I wouldn't even go out on my own. So it's kind of improved with that sense, but it's made me mentally worse. I think my anxiety actually caused me to have postnatal depression, and I get really emotional about this because I hid it quite a lot, and it wasn't until my mum and Paul kind of noticed it, and I was like, no, like, I love my baby, I haven't got postnatal depression, like, I'm bonding really well with Harry, like, why are they saying this? And all these things were going through my head. But in reality I did have postnatal depression, and I never went to the doctors because it wasn't until I'd say 4 months ago that I realised that I had it. And I thought you only get postnatal depression with newborn babies, but you can actually get it until they're like a year old. So yeah, it was with Harry, it was really, really hard, and I cried every single day. Looking back, I feel like I didn't enjoy my experience with Harry being a baby, and I get really upset about that because he might be my last baby, and it doesn't mean that I don't love him. Of course I love him to death, like he is my little baby boy, and I couldn't be happier having 2 children and 2 healthy children. But what was going on in my brain just caused me to kind of have a breakdown, and I get really emotional about it because I didn't want it to go this way, and I'm disappointed in myself, even though I shouldn't be, because it's pretty normal and a lot of mums do get postnatal depression. But it was quite serious, to the point where I was begging Paul not to go to work, and I was, you know, in my pyjamas all day. I wouldn't want to wake up. The thought of facing my day and looking after the children just kind of made me sad. And so yeah, it was really bad. I was, you know, ringing my mum up in tears saying, I can't do this, how long is this going to go on for, you know, I don't feel myself, I'm really upset. And it was a really, really hard time. A lot of the times I would go quiet on YouTube and social media, and that's because I was literally like this basically. I was a mess. I couldn't pull myself together, and I felt bad on my children. I felt like I let them down, and you know, they needed a mum and I wasn't strong enough. And I just have this guilt, like this dreaded guilt of not doing enough with Ellie, not playing enough with Harry, because I look back and obviously because I had Ellie, she was my first, I'd done a lot more with her because I had a lot more time. But this time around I'm so busy and rushed, and everything just feels very rushed, and I feel very suffocated all of the time. But yeah, I look back and I feel like I didn't enjoy Harry as a baby, and I was like wishing his life away, and it upsets me so much because I didn't want it to be that way. And when he was a newborn, I didn't have any of these feelings. It's really weird because you'd think at the newborn stage you have the baby blues and it all starts from there, but I was absolutely fine in the newborn stage, and he was like a dream obviously because he slept loads and I was in this little newborn bubble. But then it got to when he was about 3 or 4 months old, and it just completely shut me down. And I think it was a bit of everything. The sleepless nights, not having that time to myself that I used to have. I couldn't get my head around that, and I just felt very suffocated. And you know, being a mum is so hard. It's one of the hardest jobs ever, and I hate to moan about it, and I try not to moan about it too much on Instagram and stuff, but sometimes I feel like just letting it out and saying what's on my mind does help me. So whether that's to Paul or my mum or to you guys, it really helps me, and the feedback I get is just incredible. And I think it does pull us mums together and realise, you know, we're not perfect, we have our bad days, and it's completely normal. So with my anxiety, I had postnatal depression as well. And I think with my mum knowing and Paul knowing, they kind of understood a little bit and kind of just looked out for me a little bit more and kind of made sure I was okay. I'm kind of a perfectionist as well, which doesn't help, because if I don't get things done, it will piss me off. So I will have quite bad mood swings and I would get emotional, and yeah, I would make to-do lists every single day. And if I couldn't get things done, it would really bother me. Whereas other people, you know, they could be, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. But me, I wouldn't sleep because I'd be like, I need to do this, I need to do that, and my brain just wouldn't switch off. So obviously I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't in the best health, and I felt quite depressed at times. So I think with everything combined together, I was mentally exhausted, I was lonely, I was sad, I was depressed, to the point where I didn't want to see anyone as well. I wouldn't want to go out with my friends. I wouldn't want to go, I don't know, to the point where I wouldn't even want to do the school runs, because I would look at other mums and be like, they're so normal and they seem like they've got their shit together, and there's me an hour before the school run putting my face on because I spent the whole day crying and in my pyjamas and wouldn't get dressed, and that's how I felt. And yeah, it was a really shit time. And I mean, Harry's nearly a year old, he'll be a year old next month, and I do think it's getting a little bit easier because people know, and I've kind of told people how I feel. I did go to the doctors and I didn't find my doctor in particular very helpful. She just said that I needed to go on a waiting list, and the waiting list was 6 months, and I thought, I need help. I need help now, and I'm not waiting 6 months for someone to give me advice. I need advice now, I need help now, or I need medication. Not on any medication, but I do think that doing a few tips and tricks, which I'm going to share with you, do help me. And I think speaking to Emma Kenny, which is the psychologist of Channel Mum, really helped me. I had an actual Skype call with her because we're doing this whole anxiety course, and she was just amazing. She listened to me, she knew exactly what I was on about, and I said to her, like, I feel like a crazy woman, because majority of the time I do feel like a crazy woman, because anxiety does make me go a little bit insane, and you know, it does affect me in a day-to-day life. It causes arguments, it affects the family, and I was to the point where I was having breakdowns and I was going to make myself ill. So I do think that talking about it really helps. And I do think if you do need medication or advice or therapy, anything like that, go and talk to your GP. Mine in particular wasn't very helpful, and I have got an appointment next week to go back because I am going to fight this, and I feel like I need the help, and the help is there, so I will get the help hopefully. But yeah, having family around you that understands really helps. And so after speaking to Emma Kenny, she actually said that I have severe anxiety. She also said that I coped with anxiety, but I'm coping too well, to the point where I am coping so well that I will literally hit rock bottom or have a breakdown. And it's so true, because I'm one of these people that don't like to talk about my problems, or I don't like to give other people my problems, because I feel like everyone has problems, so why do they need to listen to me, sort of thing. But I do think that it's gone on for so many years, and enough is enough, sort of thing. And I do need medication. I feel like I do need that medication to just kind of pick me up and just get me through the days, because I have 2 children and they depend on me, and if I'm not happy, they're not happy, and it really does upset me. Harry is nearly 1 year old, and looking back, it was just a really awful time. And it's not him as a baby, it's me, it's my mental health, I suppose. And because I haven't done anything about it, it caused me to feel like this. And yeah, I just wanted to share my story, because I feel like if it helps at least one person out there, or one mum out there, then it will make me feel so much better. And getting your comments and messages every single day saying that you experience it and you have the same symptoms, and my videos help, maybe, that makes me feel so much better. If you are experiencing any of these symptoms, such as, I will go through my symptoms actually. Okay, so the number one symptom is tiredness. I don't switch off at night. I find it really hard to actually get to sleep, and then obviously in the morning I'm so tired. And you know, I used to kind of not blame Harry, but I used to say, you know, he doesn't sleep all night, and you know, I'm not functioning because of the sleepless nights. And he still does wake up. He wakes up once a night, but we're kind of used to that. It's kind of normal to us. But on top of that, I have got where I can't switch off. So a tip with that is I do find it easier to lay in bed and just write down everything that is on my mind, whether that's to a to-do list or my feelings or anything like that. I write it down, because if I don't, it will be in my mind and I won't be able to switch off. Also, I've noticed if I'm on my phone late at night or towards the end of the night, I find it quite hard to sleep because of my phone. And I do flick through social media and I do see, you know, mums that have got their shit together and they seem really happy, and Instagram is very fake. And I know I do Instagram and it's my job, but I do try and put the good and the bad on my Instagram, and I think I should put more of the kind of bad on there because it's reality and it's real life. But sometimes I think, no, don't start moaning, you know, because I don't want people knowing that I haven't got my shit together and I'm feeling this way, and I don't want to moan. But I do think that it helps us mums to realise that we have good and bad days, and they're all not all rainbows and sunshines, and really you're crying and just wanting a bit of me time and things like that. So yeah, I think Instagram can be a little bit fake, and I think it doesn't help when you are feeling so down seeing things on Instagram, and it does make you feel a bit like, you know, I'm not normal and I'm not coping. So yeah, that's my little tips about sleeping. Another symptom that affects me, not on a day-to-day basis, but quite a lot, and it actually makes me ill. But yeah, I get physically sick from anxiety, to the point where I'm throwing up or I get an upset stomach. Again, I've been to the doctors about this and they don't seem to be helping me, whereas I've heard a lot of people that do go to their doctors, they're on some sort of medication from it or help. So I either need to switch my doctors because they are completely useless, and I have found them useless for years, but I've just never got around to changing my doctors. But I do think that's something I do need to do. So yeah, I get physically sick, I get an upset stomach, and it kind of prevents me doing things that I would like to do. For example, work events. I get amazing opportunities to go to incredible events and like workshops and all things to do with YouTube, and I turn them down because I get very anxious about new things and changes and meeting new people. I literally will not sleep the night before because of how anxious I get. And if I do go to things such as I went to a beaches event a couple of weeks ago, was it? Yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago. I'd get very anxious about meeting people, but I try and push myself to go to things, but it will affect me. So on the train there, I started feeling sick and I started feeling a bit lightheaded because I knew that the anxiety was coming, and yeah, it affects me and it really does upset me because I think, why can't I be normal? You know, I look at Paul and he's quite confident and he's very good at meeting new people and going places, whereas I'm not like that. I go into my little shell and I just want to hide away in the toilet somewhere. So yeah, I get physically sick, I get an upset stomach, it prevents me doing a lot of things. Travelling is pretty bad and it's one of my passions. I absolutely love travelling. I do think that once I'm at the place of travelling, say on holiday or a breakaway, I feel so much more relaxed with my anxiety. I don't know what it is, but traveling with my family just makes me at ease. I feel so relaxed. I feel like I can be myself. I can enjoy myself, and I think everyone feels like that when they're on holiday. You know, you can relax and things like that, but it really does help me. But the traveling side is quite bad. Not so much car journeys. I used to get really travel sick, which doesn't help. A fear of sick as well, so that on top of the anxiety doesn't help, because I'm constantly thinking I'm gonna get sick. So yeah, being on a plane really makes me bad, and it's not actually the fear of flying, it's just generally thoughts going through my head. So one, what would I do if Ellie or Harry has a meltdown? Everyone's gonna look at me, everyone's staring at me, just things like that. What if they get ill? The littlest things I worry about, but it goes into like a bigger thing for me. So yeah, I'm quite bad with the whole plane journeys, but once I'm actually at the destination, I'm absolutely fine, and I'm actually quite relaxed. You might actually ask, what am I actually anxious about? But it could be anything. It could be the smallest thing, from me being in town and someone looking at me, and I might think they're thinking I'm a young mum because I look quite young. So all these thoughts would be going through my head. Why are they staring at me? Do they think I'm a young mum? Like, you know, and they're probably not. They're probably not even judging me. They're probably not even thinking that, but that is how I think. And it is kind of an illness, and it takes over you. It takes over your brain. It takes over your life. So that's a little bit about my anxiety. There's a lot more to it. I could go on and on and on about, you know, how it affects me and things like that. I'm actually thinking of doing a kind of anxiety Q&A, maybe with Paul, because I think it would be interesting to see it from Paul's side of the story, to see what he sees from me, because it's not all, you know, people say, oh, you and Paul, you're so good together and you kind of bounce off each other, and yeah, we are. But there's times where my anxiety gets in the way and it can cause problems between us, and, you know, not problems as in like we're, you know, splitting up or anything, but he can get quite upset about it, and he doesn't like me seeing it, and he's witnessed me having panic attacks and things like that. So yeah, let me know if you'd like to see a anxiety Q&A, because I haven't really thought this video through, and I felt like if I just switch my camera on, you know, I haven't thought of things I wanted to say. It's just natural, letting it all out, telling you my story and what I go through on a day-to-day basis, and I hope it helps anyone out there. But like I said, check out Channel Mum's anxiety course on the 29th, and also I'll leave all the links down below to anything to do with anxiety with Channel Mum, because they are so helpful. And Emma Kenny especially, like if you've got any questions, you just want to read a little bit more about it to see if you have any of these symptoms. I hope this helped anyone out there, even like one person, to feel like it's not just you that is experiencing these problems and you are not alone. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all soon.